Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here today for a very special Fun Friday edition. It is our friend from the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Isa, New York City Demon Diva. Isa, welcome to the Wrestling Inc. Daily here.
I didn't think I was allowed on this channel before 10 p.m. I'm so excited right now.
Yeah, I know. There is a world of Wrestling Inc. during the day. It's crazy. It's very different, you know? Whoa. Falling through the looking glass. But you're great. You come in here into our awesome chat room sometimes and you watch the show and talk with everybody.
I do. I enjoy what you do. I love the wrestling headlines and news. There's so many recap shows out there every once in a while. It's just good to hear the news and what else is going on.
Yeah, so we're going to talk the news. We got a big guest here today as well, if you're listening to us in audio form. But, man, yeah, the chat room here, as I mentioned it, already very lively here. We've got Finn Abs, happy Friday, here for Isa. John, hi, Isa and Nick. We have Jesse here celebrating the Latinas takeover of Wrestling Inc.
Yes, wepa.
Yeah, we have Antonio Garcia. Hello, everyone. Samantha, the Demon Queen, is here. You're over, Isa. Look, Jonah Pak. It's Isa. Welcome. Everything's about you. No love for me. All love for Isa.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. We're all happy to have you here. We're going to have a good time today, everybody. So, like I said, we're going to talk the news here in just a little bit. After the news, if you're in audio form, you're going to get to hear my interview with WWE NXT superstar Raquel Gonzalez. Wow, it is a Latina takeover today.
Speaking of the Latina takeover, we're gonna have Raquel Gonzalez too. Let's go.
How did this all come together? Yeah, earlier today I had a chance to chat with Raquel about WarGames, motorcycle riding, The Undertaker, Triple H. It's a great interview, so stick around in audio form. You'll be able to hear it right after the news block. And if you're watching us in video form, right after we're done here today, that's going to premiere over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. So you can watch this, watch that, kind of get the experience we do with the podcast only in video form. At the end of the show, for everybody, we'll dive in the mailbag. We're going to look at which Ring of Honor star you'd most like to see in AEW. We got a news story to lead into that as well. But let's get to it here. News you can use, news that will leave a bruise. And we will start with the at WrestleVotes report that word now is that WWE had no end plan for the vignette featuring Elias burning his former persona. WWE just filmed the vignettes to kill off Elias's musician gimmick. He had a rebranding weeks back, but it looks similar to Randy Savage with the colorful trunks and the beard. So Vince and officials close to him reportedly did not like those changes. Now Elias back to square one as far as rebranding goes. He hasn't wrestled since the Symphony of Destruction match that he lost to Jackson Riker on July 19th. A lot of new news here about Elias. Isa, what do you think of all this?
I'm not surprised by this. I saw the vignettes and I was like, why are we doing this? They started doing these vignettes right before they were going back to a live crowd. Live crowd, which is Elias' thing. If you would have done that in the beginning of the Thunderdome era, it would make sense. But come on. The guy was over with the crowds and you're going to take that away from him. And then you tell me that his rebranding looks like Randy Savage. Unless you shave his head and his beard, he's going to look like Randy Savage.
Yes. And why not lean into that, right? Why not? I mean,
Agreed.
Jackson Riker got to go out there and wear the red and yellow. Why can't Elias go out there and give his best Randy Savage? I don't really have an issue with that. Isa, you hit it right on the head. Why do you scrap the guy whose whole thing is bringing the live concert feel to your WWE shows? How do you take that away just before live crowds? I was as shocked as you. I thought, man, we're going to get Elias back on the tracks here. This thing is going to start to click again, right?
Yes, and he released an album throughout the pandemic. Remember? Well, his albums that he does. And he never got to perform any of these songs live in front of anyone. I remember the album prior to that, got pretty high up on the iTunes chart. And then, I don't know, I didn't think it makes sense. I didn't think Elias needed a rebranding. I think he needed a crowd. And now that crowds are back, he's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe it just throw him out there to see what happened again, And I remember
Hopefully.
2 years ago, what is it, 2.5 years ago, like just before the pandemic, he was having all these big spots. He got chokeslammed by The Undertaker. It really felt like they were kind of positioning him to maybe be moving forward. I don't know what happened for them to just kind of collapse interest in this guy. I mean, a lot of money left on the table, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the only thing that will make sense for me is just the whole pandemic era, but it ended, and they started the video packages when they knew it was coming to an end. So it doesn't make any sense, and I kind of feel bad for the guy right now. They could use this kind of talent on the mid card area. There's a lot of singles feuds that are not happening because people like Shinsuke or Damian Priest don't have anybody to feud with, and you have Elias sitting in catering. It's not ideal.
And he looks like an action figure, right?
He does.
He's just like ripped like an action figure, I wonder, not everybody could go back to NXT. And I don't even know if that's a thing now, because like the whole premise of NXT isn't really like about going backwards. But I mean, I guess that's a place he could go to kind of maybe reinvent himself, find himself. I don't really know what else to do with him, right now, unless you're going to not use him on the main roster,
Yeah, but the direction that NXT is going with the 2.0 being newer stars, I don't see them doing the whole bringing somebody back. Just especially look at the WarGames team. It's the old versus the new. Like, I don't know that they'll bring somebody back. But I mean, I don't know what you do with him. I wouldn't be mad as a fan or somebody that covers it. If you just give him the guitar again and put him back, I can suspend my disbelief and pretend those vignettes never existed just to see him back as just Elias.
Yeah, exactly. Just let the guy be himself, right? There's a real natural charisma there. He's got that big ass kicker physique. So anyway, very upset that Vince McMahon once again just like doesn't see what we all see,
Right.
Well, the Observer here giving us some backstage news on WWE salaries. They're saying that a lot of top WWE talents are now making $2 million per year on their guaranteed contracts. Others are getting $3 million. It's been reported that very top talents like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, they're making $5 million a year. These numbers sound like big numbers, right? I mean, these are millions of dollars. But when you also consider that these people are on the road 300 days plus a year, and, all the expenses they're having to pick up on their own with travel expenses and other things, I mean, I'm sure they're still putting away some money, but it chips away pretty quick, especially when you're traveling internationally,
Yeah, but it all sounds better than some of the numbers that we have heard in the past. I would expect with all the budget cuts going on that these people are making some good money, because why are you cutting, budget for other than to pay the people that you're keeping so that they stay with you? I guess, I mean, I wasn't surprised to read Brock or Roman will be like their top salary, right now, but I would assume that your top stars should be in that, if not higher, just because of all the costs that they have to cover on their own, like you mentioned. And that's not even including health insurance, because they don't even get health insurance. So
yeah, and I would really love to know what insurance companies are like picking up WWE wrestlers. Probably the highest risk kind of class of person you could possibly insure,
Yeah, especially, and if they have families, so they have to pay for insurance for all of them. If the wife, if it's a stay-at-home wife, which I would assume, right, because your husband is out on the road all the time, so you're covering insurance for a whole family, can't be cheap. So I wonder how much they really get to see from that sum.
Yeah, and Troy Corsi here pointing out a good point. Taxes off the bat. If you're not an employee, you're an independent contractor, you better be putting your nuts away for the end of the year, because they're going to take a whole bunch of money from you all at once there. We're talking like if you're making $3 million, they're taking at least $1 million from you at the end of the year.
Right, which is when it seems unfair that they cut everybody from doing their third-party stuff, Twitch, whatever it is, like just to make that extra income. When you think about it that way, it really, really seems unfair of WWE to take that away from them.
Yeah. Well, lastly here, before we get to Raquel, then we're going to have a nice conversation in the mailbag. Got a lot of interesting feedback to the Ring of Honor AEW question, but I think this is an interesting. We don't usually talk a lot of like rating stuff on the show, because like ratings really kind of ebb and flow. But the Showbuzz Daily saying, Wednesday's live Dynamite did 861,000 viewers, down 4.12 from last week's Thanksgiving Eve episode. Number 3 on cable, number 40 in viewership. It drew the lowest normal time slot viewership since May 19th, and the key demo rating tied with last week's show for the lowest since May 19th. The number of viewers in the 18 to 49 demo also the lowest since May 19th, and it hasn't cracked 1 million viewers since they started airing live on the West Coast back on October 27th. The viewership for Dynamite was down 5.7% from the same week last year. The demo was down 26.2%. Now, of course, last year they were head-to-head with NXT. That was also their Winter is Coming special, but very rare to read about a regression from this year to from last year or this year to last year when it comes to the viewership of AEW. What? How are you feeling about the AEW product right now, Issa?
I enjoy the AEW product. I think they offer something for everyone, and maybe that's the problem, because when you sit down through an entire show, not every segment is for you. But I feel that's the same with every wrestling show, right? But I did notice their YouTube views going up, so it just makes me wonder if people are just checking out what they want to see and not necessarily watching the show live. This show had Bryan advertised, CM Punk advertised. You have this amazing feud going on with CM Punk and MJF that you would assume after what happened the week prior, people would tune in to want to see how they will follow it up. I was very shocked by the number, especially being last week Thanksgiving. I didn't really pay attention to it because I was like, it's a holiday. All of the ratings are going to drop. This one, it's kind of worrisome in my humble opinion. But yes. I don't want to do the whole let's hold it off, because we all tend to do that a lot in professional wrestling. But I do think December is a very, very slow month. Maybe for WWE, I thought AEW will capitalize from that, because they do the Winter is Coming special, etc. We'll see how it goes for Winter is Coming, but I can't explain it. I think the shows are fun to watch.
Yeah, I wonder, have they found their base, right? Or have they found the group of people that want to watch the AEW product? Because I wonder what AEW can be doing to bring in people outside of kind of the basic.
Nobody's bringing any fans. The people left watching wrestling are the hardcores, and that's a reality that people don't want to accept.
Yeah,
they're.
Yeah, well, even on that, are there niches that you're not playing to right now that you can be hitting harder amongst hardcore fans to kind of patchwork together those fans to bring in more people? Because
1,000%.
Yes, right. And the thing, a lot of people complain about the sameness of WWE, and there's a lot of valid criticism in that. I think there's kind of I'm starting to feel kind of a sameness with AEW next week. I kind of, not that, there's still a little, it's definitely a more realistic product, definitely a more engaging product, but
right.
I know I'm used to AEW now. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I was going to mention, and I know you know this because we never run into each other, but we've been to a lot of the events that they have done recently, All Out, Full Gear. And I noticed that it's young adults, right? That's their, you don't see kids like you would in a WWE show, right? And I went to Survivor Series, I went to SummerSlam, and I did the 2 AEW pay-per-views, and it's 2 complete different crowds. But when you target this young adult crowd, I'm sorry, watching live television is not a priority. People this age want to go out and have fun and hang out with friends or visit family for the holidays. And because when you go to the shows, these shows are sold out. They are fun to watch live. You don't see a lot of kids in their shows. So maybe that is the demo that you're missing, the kids and the parents. And I wouldn't take kids to an AEW show. That's the thing.
No, yeah, and that's right? I don't know that targeting kids, but definitely I think women, maybe, I
actually think they have a pretty big women following. Unfortunately, I wish they booked the product for the women as well, but that's a conversation for a whole different day.
Well, but I was looking at the WrestleNomics viewership demos, and it's a close to 3-to-1 edge, men to women there. And I'm not saying that you need to change your product or anything, but I think based what you're saying, right? Why can't 2 or 3 sets of women have stories that go over several weeks? Does that change up the dynamic in a way where it makes a couple people, again, from those kind of fringe groups you're looking for come back to the table? I hear a lot of people say there's not a lot of people of color getting pushes in AEW. I feel like there's definitely a couple of friends of mine that have certainly become a little disenfranchised. Like, I don't watch anymore. Like, is there a chance to bring those fans back to the table? I guess
it's still early. AEW is a very young company, and I do think that they should look at these opportunities and capitalize on them. It's 2-year-old company, but the line right now waiting for people to win the title is very long for somebody to come up and kind of like skip it. So I can see why people will be unhappy for that, and that's an excellent point too.
Yeah, and Samantha here saying, look, it doesn't matter. It's all about it's all about Tony D, right, Isa? It's all about
Tony D'Angelo, the GOAT. Yes.
I like Tony D'Angelo. I'm not knocking Tony D.
Oh, no. We don't listen here after 10 p.m. on Tuesdays. This is the Tony D'Angelo fan club podcast.
Yeah, he's a very engaging guy. I like that he knows how to connect with the fans, right? Like, I
love that he's going all in on this gimmick. He probably knows how ridiculous it is, but he's all in it.
And you know what? Anytime I see a guy in a nice tracksuit, I'm like, oh, I really like that. That looks so comfortable. God, that's such a comfortable look that man has right now.
And you need to like him because otherwise he'll throw you with the fish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He has ties to the mafia. I don't know if you know that.
I did. He's the kind of guy. I was told a story one time about maybe my family tree's a little wonky, something like that. But there was maybe a family member of mine that if you messed with the family would walk into your office. He'd open up his little briefcase. He'd take out a coffee mug, right? He'd put the coffee mug on the table. He'd fill the coffee mug with a little bit of gasoline, right? He'd put the gasoline little thing back in the briefcase, and he'd light the mug on fire, and he'd look at the guy and he'd say, "You don't want this to be your house, do you?"
Yeah, that's Tony D'Angelo. That's Tony D'Angelo right there.
Yeah, he's a good, very, very.
And apparently, Brandy Rose does that now too. So.
Oh, that's true. Maybe Brandy. You know what? I kind of see the Brandy D'Angelo pairing there. I get it.
Yeah, they threaten people with fire now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, Isa, I want to thank you for talking the news of the day with me, and Raquel Gonzalez. Thank you to WWE for setting that up. What's your vibe on WarGames this weekend? How excited are you for it?
I am excited, but it's probably the least excited I have been for a WarGames. Number one reason is because we didn't get William Regal screaming WarGames, and to me, it's not real until that happens. Without William Regal yelling WarGames, it doesn't feel like it's even happening. So that's disappointing for me. And I like the idea. I like the concept of the black and yellow against the 2.0, but they just started feuding. I wish they would have gone way back since they launched 2.0 and kind of like really, really went at it with the old school and the new school. And then you have LA Knight in the old school team where it's like LA Knight is not part of the black and yellow. Not in my heart. I've been watching NXT for a long time. So it's a little bit confusing. I'm very excited for the girls WarGame match. A little worried. These girls are very new to these kind of matches. And if you watch Halloween Havoc, some of the spots in the ladder match were quite scary. So I just really hope that everybody's very safe here.
Yeah, and Raquel Gonzalez was kind enough to remind me of the Io Shirai leap off the cage while wearing a trash can.
Amazing, yes.
Great spot. So
that's why I'm excited for the women, because Io is in this match. So,
yeah. And look, Gigi Dolan, she gets down. Infamous Priscilla Kelly spots on the independents that have certainly made some headways in the past. I don't know that I ever saw Cora Jade get hardcore on the indies. But obviously Mandy knows what to do. Dakota Kai has no problem with it. Raquel Gonzalez is going to squash some people,
Yeah. I mean, I go back to her, what was it, the last women's standing match that she did with Rhea Ripley, remember? And they were going crazy. So I can imagine what she's going to do this Sunday.
Yeah, and the thing that's cool about Raquel and Io is these are women that have experience in this environment now. So they get to approach it not from a rookie standpoint, and a bunch of the guys on the, I don't know how many it's been for whatever on the men's team. Pete Dunne, I know, has done a few, but the WarGames, it takes a lot of creativity to get through those matches. I'm very excited to see what the women put together.
I'm excited to see the setup because that new space looks so small for them to set up WarGames. I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull it off.
Yeah, and I don't know what to think about Cameron Grimes, Duke Hudson. I still can't imagine either of those men bald.
I mean, I don't know. They had a segment on Tuesday where they show a bunch of Photoshop photos of different hairstyles on Cameron Grimes, and I was like, Lord, let him win because this is not good.
Yes, yes. I don't want them to mess with Cameron Grimes' look. I'm fine with him.
Same.
So we'll see what happens here. John here chiming in saying LA Knight, he is new school. Beth Phoenix last day at WarGames on commentary. Yeah, end of an era with Beth on commentary at WarGames.
I'm so sad. Auntie Beth, she really added a lot. I am actually very happy with the entire NXT commentary booth. I think they complement each other. It sounds great. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know that she's replaceable, but it's going to be missed. Especially the way that she treated the Indy and Dexter storyline. She was such a huge part of that storyline. Absolutely love Beth, but whatever it is that she wants to do, let her go do it. But it's sad.
I think she's going to be with Edge against Miz and Maurice.
I hope so.
Right?
Yes.
I think that's what we all want.
As soon as I saw Maurice with the Miz, that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, come on, just do it.
I'm just happy they're back. I loved the Nikki Bella John Cena build. I thought they were so fun in that program with those two.
I like the Daniel Bryan Brie Bella build with the two of them too.
Yeah, that's great. And here we're gonna see if we can't maybe again, like they know what to do here. Just gotta get Beth in the right position. So that'll bring us to our mailbag question here today. At Wink Daily, WINC Daily over on Twitter. Follow the account if you want to vote in the daily polls. Today's poll question comes from a PW Insider report saying that Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion Matt Taven was backstage alongside Jonathan Gresham and PCO at the latest Dynamite. Glacier, aka Ray Lloyd, also close with Rhodes, was backstage. I think he's part of the school. I think he's part of the Nightmare Cast. Yeah. That's not surprising. And Grammy Award-winning rapper, singer T-Pain, also in attendance for Dynamite, shown on camera. How great to see T-Pain.
He's no Bad Bunny, but okay.
There's an awesome T-Pain documentary about him and auto-tuning and how, like, apparently he, like, got really depressed for a while because people thought he destroyed rap music.
I know.
Right? It's kind of a sad
story. I seen this documentary. No, T-Pain is awesome, and I thought he looked very happy to be a part of the show. So I was excited to see him.
I think the T stands for too much pain. I think he's in too much emotional pain.
TMP. Okay.
Leave T-Pain alone. Leave him alone.
Yeah, agreed. He just wants to help Cody Rhodes.
So I asked everybody, who do you want to see go to AEW from Ring of Honor? Gresham, PCO, Matt Taven, or somebody else? About 250 votes, 50.9, nearly 2-1. Jonathan Gresham, 22.2. And by the way, large portion of the 22.2 write-ins went to Danhausen. Like I said,
yes, of course I did.
Almost everybody wrote in for Danhausen. A couple Briscoe write-ins, a couple Dalton Castle write-ins, but mostly people very upset I didn't put Danhausen in. Who do you want to see most from Ring of Honor and AEW?
Out of the names that you mentioned, I think Matt Taven, I would like to see him. I'm kind of familiar with him. And I love the Briscoes. I think it will make sense for the Briscoes to go to AEW, given that they have such a strong tag team division. I would love to see them wrestle all of the tag teams in AEW right now.
Yeah. Did you see the Briscoes respond to FTR?
No.
There's a video that
I just got so excited.
It's a video here. Let me see if I can pull up. We got a second here. It's got some really bad language in it, by the way. So I'm gonna see.
Oh no,
dim boys. Jay Briscoe is the single most terrifying individual that I have ever witnessed in my entire life. All right, let's see. He is. Jay Briscoe's terrifying.
It is. I know.
All right, let's see if I can't play this Briscoe's promo. Now, are you all right with profanity?
Yes, of course.
Okay, all right. All right, we're gonna wrap up the week with Jay Briscoe cutting a promo here. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear this, by the way.
Okay.
Yo, Chick, read that shit for me again, Chick. What exactly did he say?
He said, I'm going to start a GoFundMe to get these guys some real wrestling gear. And by GoFundMe, I mean, I'll just pay for it. Talk to my guy at G WrestleWear, and I'll take care of the bill. Hashtag pay it forward.
You gonna take care of the bill, huh? You gonna take care of the bill? Let me tell you something, boy. We don't need your dirty ass money. The fuck you think this is, son?
Man, look. But if you dead ass, let me get some of them big underwear like you got. Come about 3
Yo.
inches below the
Hey, as a matter of fact, man, we got new gear. We got new gear. I'm gonna wear that bitch tomorrow in Texas. Yo, check this out right here. Hey, you see it? Top 5 dead or alive, hands down, boy. You see it? Hey, go ahead and get you one. ProWrestlingTees.com, get you one.
Oh, this is gold.
Heard the man down in Texas. You
God
understand, big
damn
guy? You understand, big
Shit,
guy? We don't be at Texas.
Hey, at this point, I'm done talking with y'all, man. Y'all wanna play this Twitter bullshit? Fuck that. Pull up, baby. Pull up.
Oh, let's
Dallas, Texas,
go.
tomorrow next. We're gonna be in Baltimore next week. Pull up. We right here, motherfucker. Fuck this bullshit, Twitter ass bullshit. Where y'all at?
And he grabs the apple.
And then he said,
You got it?
Fuck these motherfuckers.
so that was the Briscoe, or that was Jay Briscoe.
Wow. I loved everything about that.
So for those that were not privileged to be watching that promo, Mark Briscoe in the background on the back of a pickup truck, casually drinking a Capri Sun the whole time. Really, Tom Howard here saying Mark is the best. He really is. Retro JR. Impressive. Still find time to promote Pro Wrestling Tees, even in that very graphic promo. Jonathan Lyman brand. This is amazing. Yeah, I should do this more often. I think we can do it because it's like public. It's free on Twitter. Whatever.
Oh my God, that was so good. I'm so glad that you just showed it to me and I just got to like live watch it. The Capri Sun, the apple at the end. Like, oh, it was like so perfect. The pull up.
Yeah,
pull up. Yes.
Pull up.
Oh, so good. This is why I want to see them. Imagine a promo battle between them and Santana and Ortiz.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
I know. I need AEW to get these guys like stat.
See, and here's the thing: is like I know a lot of people haven't been like huge on CM Punk's return yet, but I credit Punk with the return of the realistic promos, and it's over in WWE land now too. They're trying to be more like Punk. They really are. The Briscoes would absolutely do that to the AEW tag team division. Like those guys go in there and immediately everything feels very, very real and scary.
yes, exactly. It almost makes you scared for like the Young Bucks. Like they're gonna come out and cut a promo on them. That these people are gonna murder them.
Yes.
But I agree with you. Actually, I tweeted about that. It's like, who cares if WWE is copying what Punk and MJF did? We should be glad that it happened, and now everybody's trying to be more real because it makes things more interesting.
See, and Punk wins for that reason. Punk is winning. Like, even if people aren't in love with Punk yet, like, we're still getting, moving on it. But he's affecting the business, that's for sure.
I think that Eddie Kingston is the turning point for CM Punk in AEW, especially now moving on to MJF. I think that we're getting the Punk that we wanted to see now. And listen, Punk had not wrestled in 7 years, so we also need to be patient, let him get his feet on the ground, let him kind of like pick it back up again. Look, he's perfectly fine now. But I can understand why Punk will be like, don't put me in anything major until I know that I can do this.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna be playing Liz, my girlfriend, later in Mario Party. I'll be like, pull up, Liz. Pull up.
With an apple or a Capri Sun. If you don't have one of those, you can't do it.
I'm gonna go run across the street to the 7-Eleven. I'm gonna go pick up both. Full Briscoes tonight. God damn, I love Jay Briscoe so much. Like, I was so happy he got the ROH World Title run. He is just a big, scary individual.
and realistic, and that's what I appreciate. When a wrestler comes off that you will be scared of them in real life if you walk by them. That's what I love to see. And it has nothing to do with muscles or size. It's just the way they carry themselves,
And as much as I'd love to see them in AEW, like, they're in GCW right now. They're the GCW tag champions, and they're
GCW will be good too. I didn't think about that.
They are pigs in mud right now in GCW. There are some people that want to throw down with them. So, a lot of good energy right now. Hey, all right. Well, Issa, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be back on Monday. I'm going to be joined by Michael Weissman. We'll probably have another bit of audio or interview or something like that. And of course, this Sunday night, we're going to have the post WarGames Wrestling Inc. podcast tonight after SmackDown. We will also have a Wrestling Inc. podcast. Issa, which shows are you doing right now for the Wrestling Inc. podcast?
I will be on tonight. I do the Fridays, Tuesdays, and I will be on Sunday for the post NXT as well. So
all of them. So go get
all of them.
Go get Issa in your ear holes and your eye holes. All 3 nights. That sounded wrong. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize for the way I phrased that. It sounded not right. I've started having my first beer of the weekend. I'm just saying stupid stuff now. So, where can people go to support you, Issa, if they want to do that?
Of course, NYC Demon Diva on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I am close to hitting 15,000 on my YouTube channel. So if you guys can please subscribe, just search NYC Demon Diva on YouTube.
Awesome. And I am at Nick_Hausman. Follow me on Twitter for absolute nonsense and talks about beer. Like this, Old Irving Beer Brewery. This is called a Beezer. It's a delicious, Beezer. This is a Citra Mosaic craft beer. It's a light IPA with like a little bit of a Citra lemony bite to it, and it's really good. So go get one. I already told you my Twitter. I'll talk to everybody on Monday. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.